Confident Nick Delgado here with the KUAM News team, bringing you the very latest from Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo's annual congressional address that just wrapped up moments ago. We want to bring you the highlights real quick as Congresswoman Bordallo makes her way out of the session hall here at the Congress building in Hagåtña. First off, she started by speaking to the Manamkus and talking about how they've pretty much completed quite the feat when it comes to getting war claims for those survivors and all those that were involved during World War II here. You'll see here behind me a lot of those participants making their way out from the session hall after the Congresswoman spoke here earlier. And she pretty much not just spoke to the Manamkus, but she spoke to a lot of the island leaders and mentioned how, you know, the efforts with the military buildup, that's definitely something that she still supports. And so she's made a call out to not just the leaders, but to a lot of the leaders and the movers and shakers that can make things happen, especially to the federal government, that they want to make sure that they can do all that they can to support this military buildup as we get closer to breaking ground on the Marine Corps base here for that Marine realignment here on Guam. You'll see some of the senators here behind me and try and get some community reaction as well from them and from those that participated. Getting set up here, so please bear with us. Yeah, you have to get off the tripod. So first up, let's see if we can get quick reaction here from Vice Speaker Therese Chalahi. Vice Speaker, hey, good evening. How are you doing? First off, your immediate reaction. Where's the microphone? Your immediate reaction to the Congresswoman's speech here this morning or this evening here. What's your reaction?
Well, of course, the Congresswoman always gives a very good report on everything that she has done during the year, and this has been a good year for her, I guess, with the exception of maybe the H-2 visas. And but I thought she's done a lot of work, and she gave a very good report on it. And so I'm hoping that some of the measures that she pointed out that she's going to be successful in achieving, and that will really help us. Yeah.
A lot of topics that she touched on during her speech tonight, and she spoke about H-2B visas. She spoke about the economy. But was there anything that you wish she spoke on a bit more?
Well, she touched on the climate change and the environment, and of course self-determination. And I think, I mean, it's hard to put all the information in there, but I thought she did a good job. She at least mentioned many of them. So I'd like to hear more of the details of her plans, and the details, I guess, is what I would
see how that goes moving forward from here after this year's address. Thank you so much, Vice Speaker. Moving on here to the left, Senator, we heard from you reacting to the governor's speech here just last month, and already you were highlighted in tonight's speech for speaking out on the issue of the H-2B visa crisis when the recent congressional delegation was here. What are your thoughts to just have
You know, we've had the good fortune of being able to work with the Congresswoman's office on a number of different issues, but H-2B is definitely one of them. So we're working really closely with the staff and just ensuring that local workforce development is at the forefront of what they're doing. So that's critical, but also to making sure that the island has healthcare at the forefront, construction industry at the forefront. There are a number of other industries that she outlined that are really affected by H-2B. So we just want to make sure that we continue to support her in her efforts, but also work with the governor's office and making sure that we're all speaking in the same voice and we're all saying the exact same things, and making sure that at the end of the day, Nick, this really affects local families. People who are trying to build their first homes, it affects them with, you know, just the cost of living on Guam, and that's the underlying effects of having H-2B pulled back in this really drastic manner. So.
Right, the Congresswoman definitely saying she's going to hold the federal government's feet to the fire when it comes to the military photo. Is there anything that she didn't list off tonight that you're hoping to hear more about, or just moving forward?
I think just moving forward, she didn't talk a lot about compact impact and some of those things. I really would love to work with her a lot more on some of the social issues, social impacts. I would love to hear a little bit more from her on healthcare, and also just making sure that we're giving our island students the opportunity to educate themselves and really thrive in a growing economy. So all of those things are really important, and I know that she's really been a champion on a lot of those issues in the past, and so I'm looking forward to working with her continually, in the future on all of those issues. Thank you.
So right now you're seeing a lot of the parties here, the dignitaries, island leaders, senators here just exiting from Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo's congressional address, her annual address that she held here at the Guam Congress building, and it just ending in the last 10 minutes. And right now we have Senator Fernando Esteves. Let's see if we can get an interview with him. Senator,
yes,
if we could, real quick, just get your reaction to the Congresswoman's address. This is your first year hearing her address in your capacity.
I think it was very graceful, well thought out, well presented. Obviously for me the highlight was her indication and her continued support of the rights of the Chamorro people. I think hit me the hardest. We could disagree in policy, but when we're talking about the existence of a people and our right, I think that hit me the hardest, that we're on the same page on that, and that we do have a voice in Congress as far as the plebiscite goes. So
when it comes to self-determination, definitely has been a key factor for many of us here on the island. But there's also the highlight of the H-2B visa issue and then the crisis that we still face with that. But was there anything else that you hope the Congresswoman would have said or addressed in this speech?
Honestly, she touched on a lot of points. I'm not, I guess, clueless as to the difficulty of having to work at the federal level within the bureaucracy. I do understand that a lot of the issues that we face can be fixed at the executive level. And being in the legislative capacity here in Guam, I understand the difficulties. While we may not agree on the approaches on some of them, I do think that we are on the same page, that we've identified all the similar issues. So again, I think very graceful in her speech this evening.
All right, Senator, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, we're speaking, getting some reaction from some of the island leaders here. Here's Speaker BJ Cruz seated up. He was seated right behind the Congresswoman. Speaker Cruz, if we could get a quick couple minutes. So we're on Facebook Live right now. If I could just get your reaction real quick to the Congresswoman's speech.
Well, I was very impressed with what she had to say. She has some very major issues that she has to address. And she was very honest about the issues and the shortcomings. So I'm hoping that she'll be able to resolve those very quickly for the benefit of the entire community. So at least she was willing to step forward and say these are the things that we have to address.
Does it seem like she has a strong argument, a strong fight when it comes to the H-2B visa crisis and getting this build up moving forward? Kind of her message now?
For the H-2B, the president just signed an executive order, I think within the last couple of hours, of Buy and Build America. It's going to be a real uphill battle. I think the abuses in the area, not only, within the area, are going to make it very difficult for us to be able to ask. But that's why they're elected to that position in Washington, to try to see if they can convince somebody to give us a special exemption.
Now we wait and see. Speaker, thank you so much for your time. So if you're just joining us, we're getting a reaction now from some of the island senators after Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo just wrapped up her annual congressional address. We, of course, if you look at the link we provided in the Facebook comments, we have the full text of her address where Congresswoman Bordallo, you see her taking pictures of some of the island's dignitaries and military officials that are here as well, who sat in and witnessed her for the first time give her annual address at the Guam Congress Building in Hagåtña. So as I was saying earlier, we have the full text of her address below in the comment section, but some of the things she definitely spoke about was first starting off by giving a message to the Manamku, to the elderly here on the island, just the success then, and after a long fought battle of finally getting war claims for those that have been waiting far too long. Now, this one Guam approach, that's something that a lot of the leaders have been speaking about. So additionally, she pretty much said during her speech that she's going to be holding the Navy's feet to the fire, holding them accountable to their commitment to return lands to GovGuam and follow through on other military efforts that pretty much impact our territory. She says it's efforts, she said, we need to work together on to move forward with what everyone knows to be the one Guam approach. Congresswoman Bordallo, she also spoke on her promise to work with the Calvo administration to try and get them back on track to showing their support for the military buildup. We've reported in the past couple of weeks Governor Calvo saying that he could no longer support the military buildup, especially following the H-2B visa crisis. So that was one of the top highlights in her congressional address here this evening. Congresswoman Bordallo, of course, greeting everyone who was able to make it out for her address here in Hagåtña. And so we heard from some of the senators who, many of them pleased with what she had to say, some now pretty much it's a wait-and-see game, looking forward to see whether she's going to put a lot of the words that she mentioned here today and take action. Now, of course, I mean, the island's economy is definitely something that our island's delegate, the Guam delegate, didn't shy away from. A quick note where she highlighted in her address saying, quote, "I also hope that we will continue to expand our visitor outreach to attract visitors from new markets." She supports efforts to expand the visa waiver program to include new countries like Vietnam, and she also continues to encourage Governor Calvo to use authorities Congress and extend to him that they extended to him in 2009 to petition the Department of Homeland Security to include the emerging markets. And so definitely want to broaden the spectrum of who all can come to our island and how they can gain access to visit. As we wait to get more reaction to others just coming out of the session hall here at the Guam Congress Building, we'll tell you that Congresswoman Bordallo also speaking to the issue of Agent Orange. We've heard about this issue for years and years. The chemical that some of those that have been exposed have mentioned that that they pretty much experienced multiple health issues since exposure to Agent Orange. And so she said that Agent Orange, definitely a concern for her. She's not convinced that the Department of Defense did their due diligence to address the community's concerns for those that were exposed to the chemical. She stated, quote, "For this reason, she's leading a bipartisan request for an independent review by the Government Accountability Office of all documentation available regarding Agent Orange and other dioxin-based herbicides on Guam." She said that she's taking that GAO with this mission to ensure a truly independent review is conducted so that they do get those benefits, many of them still fighting to get those benefits after all these years, all these decades later. just joining us, Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo, the island's delegate, being greeted by several of the participants, pretty much all the participants walking out of the session hall here in Hagåtña at the Guam Congress building after giving her annual congressional address this evening. Again, we have the full speech, the transcript of her speech in the comment section below, so you can read that for yourself. We'll have the full report on KUAM.com shortly as well, and bring you more on this tomorrow night on primetime. In the meantime, we've been working to get reaction from some local senators who many say are pleased with what she had to say. Some people, of course, they hear the Congresswoman talk about issues of war claims, they hear her talk about the military buildup, and while many of it may sound similar or familiar, there were bits and pieces that the Congresswoman did note there, just about the progress that she's working, not just to get this build-up moving forward, but to have that one Guam approach truly live up for everyone involved, all the key players involved. And just to wrap things up, guys, thank you so much for joining us with the reaction period as we wrap up the congressional delegation, the congressional address with Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo for the first time speaking here at the historic Guam Congress building inside that session hall, where she led in her speech that this is where her political career all started. So in wrapping up her speech after speaking on issues with the H-2B visa crisis, with war claims, education, the economy, and compact impact funding, Bordallo, she wrapped it up by saying she will pretty much that we all need to move forward together. That's been the message for her speech this evening, that we all need to move forward together. One Guam is the very words that she wrapped up after speaking before the island here today, giving her annual congressional address on just the progress that she's made in trying to bring that voice forward for Guam to leaders in Washington, D.C. So again, Nick Delgado here with the KUAM News team, bringing you the aftermath from Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo's congressional address here this evening. You'll see her here behind me, meeting with those that have attended her annual congressional address in Hagåtña this evening. We will have the full report, the text already included in our story and in the comment section below, but we will bring you the very latest on KUAM.com. And tune in tomorrow to primetime to see reaction that we've already received from some of the lawmakers here and others that were involved. For now, for Guam's News Network, Wahoo, Nick Delgado.